Hello, everyone, and welcome to Remington Park in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Remington is the state's premier racetrack and home to the Oklahoma Derby and the Springboard Mile. The Springboard Mile is on the road to the Kentucky Derby Prep Series and is the race that I attended this past weekend. It was my first visit ever to Remington Park, so I'm going to take you on a look around the racetrack. But that was one hell of a race between Otto the Conqueror and Glengarry. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out the full coverage of this thrilling Kentucky Derby prep race on the channel through the link above. But wow, what a race that was. When you first arrive, you're going to enter into this massive parking lot, and Remington usually races at nighttime, but there's a lot to do in this area. You have a zoo and a science center across the street, as well as the Softball Hall of Fame. But once you're ready to make it inside Remington for the races, it's nice and easy to pick out exactly where you're supposed to go. Just follow the big racing sign on top of the doors. Once you've actually made it inside, you have the program booth right in front of you. You're going to have the paddock off to your left if you were to go out the set of doors, but we'll take a look at that later. And as you keep walking, you'll go past some of the trophy displays and eventually make your way into the main common area where they have all the tables, some concessions, and the betting windows. The glass windows you see along the side are the tunnel that actually leads in between the racetrack and the paddock, so you could walk up there in order to get a closer view of the horses. However, it kind of splits the grandstand first floor in half. So we'll go walking through to the other half a little bit later on, but you're going to see some of the concessions and the little pub they have on the side, and we'll make our way out to the track from here. The apron is sloped downwards towards the racetrack, so that way people that are standing in the back are kind of elevated above the people in front of them. However, in my opinion, it goes a little bit too low in the front just because you're pretty much looking straight into the rail when you're down there. You're a little bit below the track itself. So I always do like when the tracks are sloped like this on the apron, but there are certain tracks like Remington where sometimes it's sloped a little bit too much. And if you're actually standing in the front row, that outside rail can kind of get in your way of your view. Also, as you can see, there is no outdoor seating options. Everything's going to be indoors. We'll take a look at what it looks like from up there a little bit later on. But yeah, there's no outdoor seating, which you know is what I always prefer. But other than the front of the apron being a little bit too low and then having no outdoor seating, this is a great racetrack to be able to watch some racing from. You can see the winner's circle is right in the middle of the apron and is also the location of the tunnel entrance so that the horses will walk through in order to get to the paddock, which, as I mentioned earlier, separates the two sides of the apron and the first floor of the grandstand. And so let's go ahead and cut across that tunnel and make it to the other side. On this side, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. You have your betting windows, your tables, and your concessions, so just more options to sit indoors. But we'll make our way out onto the apron over here on this side as well and see what the view's like from over here. Now, I really love the apron on this racetrack. It is beautiful, even though the slope might be a little bit too low. You have the beautiful fountains going. You have cool designs of the horses running up on the grandstand. And on the sides, on both sides, you're going to have these waterfalls where the water is coming down. And on this one here, on this side of the apron, you're going to have this big horse statue of a Native American riding his back. A beautiful statue kind of honoring some of the history of Oklahoma. The paddock is going to be located behind the grandstand, and you can actually get straight into it without even going inside the building if you just go to the left of the racing sign. They've got the jockeys along the outside that are honoring winners of their biggest race, the Oklahoma Derby. And you can get pretty close to the stalls. You're going to be right there as they're saddling, and then there's a little spot in the middle in which the horses can walk in, but then you're right up next to the walking ring as well. So it's nice and easy to go back and forth between the two, depending on which section the horses are in. The jocks room is on the left side of the paddock near stall number 1. So if you stand over on this side, you'll be able to see the jockeys come walking in. The horses will be getting saddled right in front of you, and when they're ready, you can stand right in the middle and catch them moving into the walking ring. They'll do a lap without the riders in the walking ring before the riders are given the leg up on the second lap. And then you can stand right by the tunnel as they start making their way out to the track. Take a nice little quick walk in the grandstand and you'll pop out where they're exiting the tunnel if you wanted to see them coming out from that angle. Then you're already on the apron, so you can watch them as they begin the post-parade. and then the race itself. They'll come back to the winner's circle to get their picture taken afterwards. While the other horses will get unsaddled right outside of it. And then all the horses after the race will exit going towards the right, so past the finish line towards the clubhouse turn. But if you go up towards the top of the stretch where they're coming in towards the far turn, you can see the horses for the next race coming in. Follow them back up the tunnel. And now you're right back in the paddock to watch the next race. Being able to see the horses is going to be nice and easy. On the ground level, you have the tiered stairs surrounding the walking ring, so you can see over the people in front of you. And then you also have the upper balcony for the upper section, so that way you can see over everybody that's on the ground floor. And the bird's eye view from up on the third floor is fantastic. You're going to enjoy standing up here and being able to watch everything that's going on in the paddock. It's just a really cool spot to be able to watch the horses and the jockeys as they're getting ready. This upper floor is going to have the same kind of options like you have downstairs. You're going to have the tables to sit on while you're reading through the program, some concessions to get some food. You have the wagering windows across the back. But most of the seating in this floor is going to be kind of a dining type section and a private box type section. Now towards the left side of this room, they do have just regular stadium seating that's free to go sit in if you wanted to get up there. And you can enjoy all the aspects of the horses being out on the racetrack from right up here inside the seats, especially on your colder days. The thing that I enjoy the most about Remington is how much it displays its history all across the racetrack. Back in the paddock, as we saw, you have all the jockeys representing winners of the Oklahoma Derby. But then you also have a couple statues honoring some of the legends of Remington Park. And within the building, there are trophy cases honoring some of the best horses and jockeys, as well as the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, where all the horses, jockeys, trainers, owners, anybody that's been inducted, they're all honored with their own plaques up on the wall, pictures, information. You could spend a lot of time just reading through all the legends that have gone through the Oklahoma tracks, or were just from Oklahoma before making it on the national stage. But that brings us to the end of our trip around Remington Park. I hope you enjoyed getting to see the racetrack. It's a great stop to make if you're in Oklahoma City, especially since it's in the center of a big entertainment area. And for race fans, this is definitely a must. Horse racing in the Midwest might have your smaller tracks with not as big purse money, but it's a central piece to horse racing across the United States. And so it's always great to visit one of these smaller racetracks that have their big days every once in a while, and you can just have a lot of fun while you're there, whether it is the big days or not. But thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Remington Park, and I hope you have enjoyed watching our track profile series. But I'll catch you at the next video, and I'll see you all at the races.
Yes.